Good morning, Morgan. How are you?
Honey, I am absolutely wonderful today. I am so excited to be able to talk about what we're going to be talking about today.
Girl. All right, listen, y'all. Welcome to Getting to After. I'm Chatone Morrison, Princess of Positivity. You already knew that. I'm totally about the idea that you can release your negativity so your positive can reign, your brain, your business, your big, beautiful life. I believe that there is no shelf life on your healing. You don't have to have it's too late. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Let my girl introduce herself to you.
Hey, everybody, I'm Morgan Bustos, and I am Chatone's co host. I'm really excited to be a part of this too, because throughout life's journey, we just want to help women to be able to see how important they are and that it's okay to have those shifts and pivots in our lives. And so we like to be able to help you come back to center here at Getting to After. So
Yes,
welcome
yes,
to this
yes,
episode.
yes. Welcome, welcome. All right, so listen, we're going to be talking to Jessica Weinert today. She is a health coach. She is extraordinary, and she is it just speaks to our heart, all about midlife and really wanting women to realize they don't have to have shame about starting over. We're going to bring her on screen in just a second. And I think Margaret, as opposed to giving all her, who she is, we'll let her bring on so we can make her blush a little bit. I think
Love
that's important, right? Let's bring her on.
it. Let's do it.
Hello.
Welcome, Jessica. Welcome.
Hello, ladies.
It's good to see you. Let me tell you what I typically do when we have a guest is we kind of introduce them off camera, but I figured I want you to blush a little bit today. So I'm going to do some accolades. Listen, y'all, we're welcoming Jessica Weiner. I have known her for well over 20 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And she looks better than ever. Let's just put that out there. There's nothing wrong with, aging gracefully, but there's also something about aging gorgeously is also good. That's what she's doing. So let me just read a little bit so you know why she's qualified to talk to the Getting to After audience. That's right. Yeah, put the hands together, right?
Love it.
So Jessica is certified as by the National Academy of Sports Medicine in personal training, corrective exercise, stretching, and flexibility, and she's a nutrition coach. So already, it's a mouthful, okay? But now she's also a menopause health and fitness specialist, pelvian. Did I say that right?
Pelvian
Wellness coach, core confidence wellness specialist, which means that she can get that pelvic floor back up to where it's supposed to be. If you're in midlife, if you had any level of any pregnancies or babies, the pelvic floor has fallen to the floor, and we need to lift it up, okay? And then also, personally, she's had issues with her hips. If you've ever looked at her on Instagram, she's always talking about on Facebook about her own body. And that's part of the thing that I love about you is that you use yourself as a model, but then you then go and you teach so deeply. And she's also had endometriosis. So she's going to talk a little bit about some of the things she's had, hip dysplasia, connective tissue disorder. And of course, like the rest of us currently navigating menopause, or I should say, probably perimenopause for you guys, menopause for me. As well, she's married for 28 years to Rich. She's got two adorable fur babies, and just now I saw a cat walking by. So there's also
we
a
keep
cat.
rescuing stuff.
She's got two amazing children. Tell me their names real quick.
Andrew and Isabella.
Andrew, so I'm like Isabella, right? And I knew them since they were this big, which makes me like very, very excited. And she's known my children as well. Morgan's getting a chance to kind of just step into this world of you, Jessica, today. One of the things I love the most is that you really believe that we should quiet the shame around starting over. And that's what Getting After is all about. And remind us that even if we've had what would be considered a failure, it doesn't mean we're a failure. And there's proof otherwise, so we can always start back over. I am going to go ahead and give the floor to Morgan, but not before I put up your banner. Boom, because I want to make sure
I love it.
that everyone knows exactly that you are the queen of shameless fitness and nutrition. And I can say that from personal experience because I've watched you eat vegetables raw, beautiful, nice plating with wine. And when I see that, I'm like, this is my girl. All right. All right, Morgan, I want you to get to know her. Go ahead and jump on in.
Jessica, I just have to say how impressive it was being able to go and look through all of the things online about you and to see the different platforms and to see how you've just come on this personal journey of yours, and I just wanted to ask you, like, where was the moment that you thought, I really need to do this for myself and also help other women?
That's a great question. Yeah, because it happened at a low spot, which is when it happens for a lot of us, right? One thing I have to say about women, and this is one thing I have learned from working with woman after woman after woman, women are so resilient, and we're born to just get through something and grow from it. And we love learning, we love managing, we love helping people feel better. And so when I always had problems with my hips from the time I was a very small child. I danced, started taking, ballet and all the different things when I was like 3, and knew that like I didn't move like some of the other girls. Like they seemed to kind of be able to do things I couldn't without discomfort. Never thought about it. Had a bike injury as a small child, which probably made things worse. But it was actually after I had my second child, I did have trouble through pregnancy. My pelvis prematurely separated. All these things that are like, that shouldn't be normal, right? But because I feel like there's not enough attention, like, oh, are you being dramatic or is it something? And I feel like that's something that we've seen throughout history, right? I mean, we won't even go into history of why it's called a hysterectomy, but we've seen that. So after my second child, took a boot camp class, felt this horrible pain, couldn't walk after that, went to the doctor, and I had torn labrum, which led to another torn labrum. And it was just the beginning of many injuries over and over again, leading up to a horrendous surgery by a doctor who didn't care, who told me I was being dramatic and that he was confident in his work and I needed to stop being a drama queen, right? Like we hear these things and I think women like take it.
I believe it.
I was like, no.
And then we also start to question ourselves too. Like, is this really happening?
Is it me? Or like, is it me? Maybe I am being dramatic. Maybe this isn't a real injury. Maybe I'm just being weak, like a weak woman. No, never. So if you've ever thought that as a woman, we are so tough and resilient. We know when something's not right. So, after a couple of years, I couldn't even walk. I went to a doctor who confirmed that I just had this massive messed up hip that eventually, it had to be replaced. So it led to a full hip replacement. And I remember thinking, I am not, because at the time I was already on social media and because I was talking about this, so many women, especially women, were like messaging me like, this sounds like something I've been through. And I heard that story no matter what it was, whether it was going years without an endometriosis diagnosis, whether it was just some kind of health issue, women were not getting the attention, the care, and the support that they needed. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out, and then I'm going to help other women. And I'm going to teach them, like, share your voice, like, be your own advocate, because you're not being dramatic. And that just led from one thing to the next. I thought to myself, what if I became a trainer and I can train myself? My daughter also has hip issues. So I was like, I need to help my daughter because I'm not going to let her go down this same road, doctor after doctor of frustration. I'm going to get the certifications I need. I already felt like I had all of this wisdom from having to live it. Right. Yeah, and then I just realized if I had known then what I know now, would I have needed the surgeries? Would I have had to go to doctor after doctor to be told there's nothing wrong with you? And I was like, I'm going to speak and I'm going to help as many women as I can. And so that's why it just kind of led from one certification to the next. Like as I begin to experience something, or I have more and more clients that are experiencing something, I'm like, nobody's help them. I got to help them.
Yeah. And that's such a beautiful thing too, is when you get to that moment in time where you realize that you have something that you can offer to help other people not suffer the way that you have, and so many times as women, we feel that we don't have time because of like our family and the other things that are going on, because it's hard to find that balance
Yeah.
in things. So what would you say to women to help them feel that they don't have to always put the other people first, but they can also like work on themselves simultaneously, like that balance?
Yeah, and it is a hard balance. I think it's a mom struggle, right? That we want, we focus on everybody else, and we usually end up focusing. We feel guilty for focusing on ourselves at all, but really, in reality, it's kind of like that when we're on the airplane and they say when the oxygen mask drops,
Yes.
help yourself first before you help someone else.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to show up for everyone else if you have the mental and emotional and physical capability to do so. So, don't take away from yourself, because everyone is equally important. You wouldn't want your daughter to do that.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. And we have to make sure that we are being the example to our
Yes.
daughters,
Yes.
of what it's like to take care of ourselves. Because as moms, like you mentioned, we just naturally are caretakers. We're naturally giver, 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 giver. But then we get to that moment in time where it's like, what am I teaching my child to do?
Right.
It's to neglect herself. And we have to make sure that we're teaching them how important self-care is, so that you can have the bandwidth to take care of everybody else too.
That's it. That's it. And they need to see that. Oh, when mom is, having a day, she goes and she exercises because it makes her feel better. And she doesn't roll up into a ball, and drink a bottle of wine. Sometimes we need a glass of wine, right? But, teaching them by example, like take care of yourself, learn the healthy ways to help yourself so you can help others.
That's right. Like the healthy coping mechanisms are so important to be able to relate to everybody. Yeah.
So, Jessica, one of the things that I've always admired about you is the fact that, you don't, so there's a lot of coaches out there, and they coach from a place of, they don't really like their clients. They don't really like what their clients represent. I've worked personally as a writing coach with coaches that the content made me want to gag, because I'm like, okay, so you're working with women that have weight issues and you don't like them because you don't like rounded bodies. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? You can't actually give them what they need. And so for me, especially as a heavier person who has struggled their entire life, to just a year ago find out, oh, it's because basically my thyroid is completely shot. There was a time when every heavy person had a thyroid problem. Well, what if mine literally is at 0? Okay. So now I feel better because I'm on the medication, but the amount of shame that I was given from doctors, you must be doing this, you must be doing that. Like, they just feel very comfortable telling you who you are. So in midlife, after you've gone through your 20s, your 30s, now you're in the 40s, I'm in my 50s, your body starts to feel foreign.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on,
Right.
And so whether it's weight changes, your energy is kind of like iffy. For me, that's what it was. My energy, it was a non-show. It was not, what is that called? It doesn't show up. All right. It was definitely taken no show day. All right. It's not there. And that happens in menopause with all these other things.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception that women have about their midlife bodies?
That they can't, like, the best is behind them, and that this is just the new normal. I guess I'm lazy now. I guess I'm past my prime.
Oof.
You feel all these things. And the fact of the matter is, all of us, we do something when it feels good, not when it feels bad. So
write that down.
Yep.
So how, and I've always thought to myself, listen, I've had days where I was looked at like something is wrong with you, but you appreciate when the person on the other side of that is like, let's figure it out. And let's, so I love my clients. I want them to feel better, even if, listen, burpees, throw them out the window. Okay. I'm not doing them, and I'm not
happy you said that.
If they request one, maybe, but I ain't doing it with them. because you should do things that honor your body where you're at. So there's some days when my clients show up and they're like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm like, stop apologizing. Like, this is where you are today, and we're going to do what your body needs today. So maybe your body is saying, like, there's so many things to take into consideration. Did you sleep well? Probably not.
There you go.
So, your cortisol is probably through the roof. Like, have you eaten? They talk them through some things. All right, see how we can make you feel better. And then let's just honor your body where it is. And I want my time with you. I want you to walk away feeling really good. And today that might not be lifting 20-pound weights.
Out of 10. Yeah, it may not be out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, first, let me just apologize because I didn't let anyone know. And sometimes we are going to do a premiere of this, and then, of course, people can get the replay. But I do want to make sure everyone knows how to find you. Okay. So really quickly, just let us know. We'll reiterate it at the end. I'll, of course, put it in the description, both on YouTube and Spotify. How can people find you? Because I know already, y'all listening, and you're saying, like, where's she been my whole life? Okay? At least where's she been my whole midlife? Where's she been?
Right. So I'm on Instagram, and that's mostly where I'm most active. On Instagram, Jessica L. Weinert, Fit and Well Fed. And then can I even tell you what I am on Facebook? I don't know.
Well, it's not so much stuff, but if they want to work with you, what should they do? Yeah.
So you can go to Jessica L. Weinert on Instagram, at Jessica L. Weinert, and I have links there where people can schedule a consultation with me, schedule a chat. There's several different options there. There's a link to my website. My website is fitwellfed.com. And also there they can read about me, see if if it's the fit they've been looking for, and then schedule a chat and all of that.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. I have to say I'm excited because I remember when you were getting that name. That's when we were working together, and you were going through all these different names and the different logos and everything. And so, one of the things that I like about that, and this is my pet peeve. I've been a coach for 15 years, and I've been saying 12 for like years. And then the other day I realized, wait a minute, it's like 15. I just always doubt. It's like, why am I doing that? Right. But what happens is a lot of people, they take a class for 2 days. They take a class for 2 days, and now they're a health coach. They do a 48-hour boot camp, and then they put a shingle out. And they've never had any issues with their body. Not saying that every personal trainer has to, but for women, when we feel that someone has walked the path,
right?
There's a difference between a male doctor telling you about your pregnancy.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
And then he's single. You don't even have a wife. Right. You don't even have any kids. Like you've never even. Sir, I would like you to sit down, right? Yeah, so everything you just mentioned just there, it really made me feel really warm and fuzzy because a lot of male coaches are out there. I used to go to a woman's gym. All the coaches were men. It was so strange. Now, I have to say, my particular coach, shout out to you, Ray, wherever you are, he was so compassionate and amazing. Mm-hmm. And he was somebody that made me feel comfortable in my body at 230 pounds. I mean, he made me feel so comfortable in my body. And he was like, and he got me strong. Yes. And I wanted to do it. But most trainers don't do that. So if a woman is listening today, and let's say she's in midlife or not, whatever age she is, because getting to midlife is not the only time when we kind of neglect our self-care and neglect our movement. What would you say to a woman who hasn't moved her body in months or maybe years? Where can she begin?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And a lot of times, first of all, I think finding the right trainer that's going to meet you where you are, like you said, finding someone who understands where you are in life. Maybe, if you're, let's say, a woman in perimenopause or menopause, finding a 25-year-old man who says, it's all about calories in, calories out, maybe not the best one to pick. Even the woman, like you might find a woman, I'm sorry, some of the worst gynecologists I've had is women. Yeah. But just not trying to change everything at once. And I think we feel pressed for time. Like, I got to do this. I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to use the motivation I feel today to push me. Motivation comes and goes. right? So it's nice to use it when we have it, but to not feel like we failed when it's not there, because that's completely normal, right? So just like, how about setting goals with, I'm going to drink more water, right? I'm going to set a water goal this week. I'm going to set a eating a fruit and a vegetable every day next week. Like, establish some good habits before you try and take on 10 at once. I'm going to walk 10 minutes a day, and then increase that. You want to walk 30 minutes a day and you can't do it at once. 10 in the morning, 10 at lunch, 10 at night. Just like, start making goals to move your body a little bit more. When a commercial comes on, I know none of us have any patience anymore, but when a commercial comes on, like, get up and just walk for the minute that the commercial is on. There's just so many little ways that we can just integrate
So
little
good. So good.
things.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, these are the ways that I just finished a course on, somatic exercises and nervous system resets. And one of the things they were talking about was activity balancing. And people don't do that because programs are made for one size fits all. And from a person who Morganne has been like she's been massively trained in many ways physically over the years. For me, as a person who's had many trainers, the ones that were the best were the ones that paid attention to, am I moving weird today? I have scoliosis. I've had plantar fasciitis. Sometimes these things just to say, hi, I'm back, just because. And when you have someone that doesn't pay attention to you, it makes us feel worse. And I do have to give a plug for something we're going to have coming up soon. And Getting the After is going to really talk to this. Jess, you're going to love it. I will be gifting you one free when we're done with this project. It's so amazing, and it integrates tapping with movement, because women go into movement so many times with an X on their body. Or like, how they used to put in the magazine the black over their eyes so they could talk about them badly, but we're the ones talking. We're the ones talking about our bodies. We're the ones talking about our movement. And so I think removing that shame, EFT really helps with that. And it's so necessary.
Yeah.
It's so necessary.
Jessica, I really like how you brought up that you gave them like, do it for 10 minutes or, take those baby steps, because like you brought out earlier, did you sleep okay last night?
Right.
Because that impacts so much. Did you eat enough protein to make sure your brain is working so that you can function in that kind of way? So I really appreciate that you take the time to really look at each client for where they are in that moment in time and make realistic goals for them, because it's not realistic for us to be like, oh, I haven't done anything and now I'm going to work out for 8 hours today.
Exactly.
Because then that puts our mindset into something negative, because now we're like, whoa, what are you doing, kind of thing. So thank you so much for doing that. I remember when I was looking at your all your accolades, I thought it was so impressive, all the different things that you have going on. But one thing that really stood out to me was that you're a pelvic wellness and core confidence specialist, which is a really, really unique certification. I mean, I was blown away by hearing about that, because one of my really good friends, she deals with that, with the what is that called? When your pelvic floor is
Dysfunction?
Yes, prolapse.
Yeah. Prolapse?
Yeah, prolapse. Thank you. So learning about that, and then also her muscle tissue disorders that she was struggling with. There's so much that goes hand in hand with that.
Absolutely.
So what can women do today to support the things that they're going through? What are some of the things that they can do right now?
Yeah. So I think I encourage all women to see a pelvic floor physical therapist annually. We go to the gynecologist, and sometimes that pelvic floor physical therapist, I am fighting for every woman who gives birth to be visited, not just by the La Leche nurse, but by a pelvic floor physical therapist. I don't understand why our pelvic floors go through all of this trauma, and it's just like, okay, you can start working out 6 weeks later. It's insane. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I just say, Morganne, have you ever heard?
Well, that's what I was about to say. You have never even been talked to or told about these kind of things.
Never even heard that
was an issue.
I'm a very natural. I've never even heard of such a person.
Yeah. They are absolutely a necessity. I mean, I feel like every pregnant woman should. It's good if they can see a pelvic floor physical therapist through their pregnancy. It will help prepare them for birth. And then after you've given birth, and then, there's things that influence our pelvic floor, like your friend. I also, because of having a connective tissue disorder, I had some really serious pelvic floor dysfunction. Mine showed up at its worst. I mean, after you give birth, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I remember my kids were probably, my youngest was probably 12 or 13. And I went to go take, I think it's Zumba, right? Is that the one where you dance around?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Peeing all over myself, right?
Oh,
And I was like, why can't I do this? I was so, I felt so ashamed. And I was like, was I even 30 years old? I don't know, but I couldn't do it. And then I went to go take a class at the gym. Again, the same thing. I couldn't keep up with any of the women. And I was like, something is wrong with me. Didn't know where to go. It was endometriosis and it was pelvic floor dysfunction. It was all of these things combined that came together to cause like this perfect storm. I think that that's an issue that's seen a lot. All of these things kind of are
They're like out there, but
yeah, but it's so necessary because women automatically think, okay, well, if I'm leaking when I laugh and cough and sneeze and jump, then I obviously need to do like a million Kegels. That's sometimes the absolute worst thing you can do.
really?
When I went to a pelvic floor physical therapist, she was like, you've got a really strong pelvic floor. The problem is it is chronically tight. So if those pelvic floor muscles can't let go, now, you want your pelvic floor to be able to expand and relax and then contract when you want it to contract, expand and relax. So diaphragmatic breathing can really help with that, just getting full relaxation of the pelvic floor muscles. That was my issue. It took some manual therapy, which only a pelvic floor physical therapist is qualified to do, but also bringing in like the breathing and targeted strengthening. So just some rehab to the pelvic floor. Most women, and you don't have to have given birth, because if you have something like a hip dysplasia or a connective tissue disorder, you might have some pelvic floor dysfunction. So don't feel ashamed. It's real. Something is happening with your body. Get it looked at by a trained professional.
So what kind of trained professional would that be that they would go to?
Just a pelvic floor physical therapist. So, and you can search that. I actually have a good friend who, is a pelvic floor physical therapist. She even does online. She can do online consultations and even therapy. I think that in some cases there an in-person sessions are needed, for some of that trigger point therapy and manual things. But there's so many things. Sometimes when we have pelvic floor dysfunction, we end up like, let me not drink as much water because I don't want to have to be going to the bathroom all the time. That's the worst thing we can do for a pelvic floor. Urine is so acidic. We're going to be irritated. We want to really like drink a lot of water, keep ourselves well hydrated, avoid that overly acidic urine, but also it trains our bladder to really fill all the way up. And then relax. So, as women, I know I'm guilty of it too. We're running out. We're like, let me just pee in case. I'm going to be out for an hour. Don't do that, because your bladder is a muscle that is trained just like all of your other muscles. So if you're training it to go to the bathroom every hour, that's what it's going to do. And it's not going to be able to fully, expand and hold urine.
That's deep, right, Morgan?
I'm speechless at the moment because I have the bladder of a squirrel. So, I constantly having to go all the time. So,
well, and then another big thing that makes a huge impact on the pelvic floor health and bladder is our hormones. When our hormones drop as we come into perimenopause, there's estrogen receptors all over the urethra, all over the bladder. So then when that organ and that tissue is starved, it can't function properly. So sometimes just something as simple as vaginal estrogen, which, light bulb moment, guys, it does not raise your estrogen levels in your blood at all. It simply brings the tissue back to a nice, healthy
Right.
state. So that can help with your urine leakage also.
Hmm. That's amazing. I know that you do a lot of the your personal training virtually also.
Yes,
So you work this in with that also?
I do. I do. Yeah, all of my clients get any support they need. So, do they
Beautiful.
need pelvic floor support? They get that. And of course, are they in perimenopause, menopause? Well, they're going to get everything changes, as we come into perimenopause. We can't eat the same, we can't train the same, you know, and so all of that has to be modified. So, yeah, every client gets exactly what they need.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have to break in, Jessica, to so much of what you said it can also be hereditary
Yes.
because my mom's it's not good. And she's in her 80s, but it started after surgery. So a lot of times these issues happen. So sometimes it's with having a baby or a C-section or different things, but a lot of times it's a surgery
Yes.
where they just, really want to get to lunch real quick and weren't very careful. And that's what my situation came from. And it was surgery after surgery after surgery, miscarriages, so then those surgeries, and then the endometriosis, 3 surgeries, and then and then a hysterectomy too. So of course the floor was
A lot of
jacked
trauma.
and then created a hernia, like all sorts of things. That I love that you said that about, urination, like leakage and all those things. And you see these commercials and it's all about depends, and it's all about just, you can just be yourself and mask the problem. But what if we found out why?
Yes.
Or is there something else? And I'm so glad you said about Kegels, because my goodness, that's all we hear about.
Mhm.
You must need to strengthen this. So you just taught me. And look, everywhere I go, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's so tight, it can't let go now.
oh, so sad, so sad. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this conversation is amazing. Morgan, did I tell you she was going to be great?
Amazing. Well, such a blessing to have you here today because we
Oh,
just covered so many different things just in this short amount of time already. One of the other things that's really important to me in this moment in life, and I know it's this way for a lot of other people, is how you keep fitness from becoming like a punishment or an obsession. I literally was having a conversation with my friend last night about how so many times we have it in our heads that like we need to deprive ourselves,
mm,
that you need to stop having this, stop having that, take that out, take this out, take that out. When in actuality, it might be we just need to like change how we think about things and start adding in more
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So, for what would you suggest to women to like some of the things that you could just start out with, like implementing into your diet to be able to help with that?
Yeah. So making sure you're eating enough. I mean, for a lot of women in this stage of life, if you're withholding, first of all, it doesn't feel good, and can actually increase our anxiety and stress, drive up our cortisol levels, which causes us to gain weight. Um, Women also don't do well fasting. Men do great fasting, but
Really?
women don't do well fasting. Women need to be fueled. We have such amazing physiology systems, amazing biochemical machines, very delicate, very delicate. So when we withhold food, our systems panic, and so that's not where we want to be. So keeping yourself fueled, definitely fueling for activity. So going into thinking, oh, I've been fasting, now I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to do a workout. Nope, not a good idea. So, with the majority of my clients, the issue is they are not eating enough. And it takes a real flip of a switch to be like, please trust the process. You're going to feel better. And sure enough, in a couple weeks, their energy is up.
Wow.
They are losing weight. They feel stronger because now their body is actually able to work. you
Mhm.
know, yeah, the fasting data is really all the fasting data is on men, and it's on sedentary elderly women. So
Mm.
but for the majority of us who want to be active, we need to fuel for activity.
So now I'm going to have to go in a corner and cry because I do IF. So I'll be talking with you about that.
Yes.
Funny that you brought that up because my instructor at the gym, she told me the exact same thing. She's like, "No, I need you to add in more protein. I need you to add in more healthy fats. I need you to
Yes.
do it like instead of just waiting all day and then eating a big dinner." She's like, "I really need you to start like having like mini, like even like 9 little snacks throughout the day and then a big meal at the end or whatever you want to do." Because I was completely skipping breakfast because it just never sat well with me. And so she's like, "It's okay if you have, like, something smaller, so
Yeah.
it's not too heavy," because I think that was my thing. So she's like, "Just have, like, a protein shake so that your body has something to work with, but more than anything, your brain has something to work with."
Right. Yeah. It's so important. Like, that 12 to 14-hour fast is perfect for women. We don't need to go beyond that. And some people are just naturally not breakfast eaters. But when we wake up, cortisol is what wakes us up. It's that wonderful hormone that keeps us alive. But as women in this phase of our life, we have a harder time bringing down our cortisol. So before grabbing that cup of coffee with caffeine that's going to keep the cortisol levels up, you want to blunt the effect of the cortisol. So eat something, even if you can only handle something small, a few bites of a banana and a few bites of Greek yogurt. You ideally want a nice protein forward break to your fast.
Beautiful.
And when you're hungry, eat. We don't want to mess up those hunger and fullness hormones. And the best way to do that is by not eating.
They are hormones. And I think, you answered so much of what I wanted to ask you. Those are hormones, but not only that, there's so much shame attached to eating for women, and it's getting worse.
Yes.
With certain injectables.
Yeah.
To where I actually read a book, all this data on these companies that are like losing market share. Now, these are not companies or places that I would probably eat anyway, right? But people aren't eating. Restaurants are more empty. There's less. So it actually even affects the whole economy because people are injecting not being hungry. And so it is not good. And we'll see in a couple of years what all happens from that. I think it's also the way we were created. You can't go away away from the way we were created. We cannot go against that.
Right.
We were created to eat, to sleep, to hydrate, to move. And it works beautifully when we do it. So everything you're saying is the kind of thing that makes it hard, and it makes it hard for people because everyone's saying something different. So that's why I really believe that having a compassionate coach, I don't care what kind of coach they are, you need a compassionate person and one who's empathetic, because to try and fit everyone into a box, everyone ain't fit in no box. Right. Like, what are we doing right now? Right. All right, listen, we're going to play a game real quick.
Okay.
We're going to pull stuff out of you real quick. So this is just our rapid fire question round.
Okay.
Just imagine you're on a game show. You only get less than 5 seconds to respond.
I'm a horrible test taker.
Actually, from all the people that I've interviewed, honestly, I don't even know if it's going to work, Morgan, or her, because like she's really quick. Like I have some people who are like, oh, let me see. Like, you don't know your stuff. So, all right, Morgan, you go first.
Boom. Okay. What's your favorite exercise?
Oh, favorite exercise. It depends on what I'm needing to strengthen. I'll tell you my most hated exercise is burpees. I love curtsy lunges. I love lunges. I like really efficient exercises. So what I usually do, and my clients will tell you that this is called justifying a move. When you take one exercise, but it's like 4 different exercises in one, where, like today, for instance, on my menu was a side lunge to balance. Now I'm working on core, I'm working on ankle stability. I come up into a curl and I press overhead. So I'm getting several different moves in one. So I would say my favorite exercise is the one that is extremely efficient and works multiple muscle groups at once.
Okay.
You.
Final answer.
Didn't accept that answer. It was really long, but I think she cheated. I'm not sure, but it was a great answer. I loved it.
Good answer.
I'll be living by it for the rest of my life. All right, listen. What's your favorite food that other people are going to say is bad?
Oh, pizza.
Pizza
How
is
can you
from
not
the
love pizza?
Lord.
It's
from the
everything.
Lord. Okay.
Amazing.
So many things you can just pile. My favorite pizza is the one that has just like everything piled on it with a side of wine.
That's all I need for the rest of my life, and I can't have gluten, so it's very, very sad. Eating it on cauliflower is not the same.
Mm-mm.
Morgan, go.
Something about the grease that's just amazing. So, what is your favorite, quickest meal to make?
Chili.
Ooh.
I can make a pot of chili in like 30 minutes, eat off of it for several days, and I feel like it's so many things in one pot.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really good. That's really good. Okay. So, if somebody only has like 10 minutes, what should she do in 10 minutes?
Walking is a wonderful exercise. It has such a positive effect on on us emotionally. It helps us be problem solvers. We actually do our best problem solving when we're walking because hormones, chemicals are activated when we walk. So if you want some good ideas and stuff, go for a walk.
And that's actually really true. I used to do my best live streams walking, and it would just it's just coming at you. So that's great. So here's and this is not really a rapid fire question, but I need you to answer it in 30 seconds or less. What's one thing you wish women would stop apologizing for when it comes to their body?
When they can no longer do something they used to be able to do.
That's so good. Yeah. And that's something Morgan and I talk about just in general across the board. We are always changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think about how many times a woman changes in her life. It's what we're good at, right? We go through puberty. We get all of these big, huge changes. We give birth. We go through postpartum. We go through perimenopause. We're experts at adapting. So just adapt. It's just, so you can't do something you used to be able to. That's okay.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's such a beautiful comment. And literally, it just brought tears to my eyes because there's so much shame around not being able to produce the activities that I used to even like a couple years ago or even last week, and then when you also put in health problems or, things like that, it just adds more to you. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you've been amazing. We have a little bit of time left, so I think we should do some tapping.
Yeah.
Right? So I know you said before you've never really tried it. We're not going to take you to anything too deep. But those of you who, again, have never met Jessica, you need to be standing up next to your phone, your iPad, your computer, and giving her a standing ovation because she's that good. Okay? So don't forget it. She's that good. And we will mention again how you can find her. Morgan and I, in Getting to After, we founded this initially because of domestic violence, which is coming up, the Domestic Violence Awareness Month next month. But then we realized there's a broader spectrum of women that we wanted to be able to support and help and mostly support and know that they're not alone. And everything you said, it's like you're part of our tribe because it's about fixing. No, it's about supporting. It's about letting you know that however you show up today, there's something you can do for it to make you feel a little bit better. And feeling a little bit better today is so much better than a fix because fixes get broken. If you have strategies, you can continue on with a strategy. So tapping is really all about working with the nervous system at certain points. Think of it as like, emotional acupuncture, emotional acupressure. We generally ask people to measure how they're feeling on a particular thing, whatever their stress is, whatever their overwhelm is, and give it a grade from like 0 to 10. And for those of you who've never seen us do this before, we do it every single week on Tuesdays. Morgan and I come out here, we tap on a topic. And typically, we have a particular tapping transformation I've created so that we really hone in on specific issues. Today, the issue really is about this idea of I failed. I failed too many times. It's too late for me. There's shame around my body. There's shame around my movement. And the one question that we like to do some like kind of guiding questions would be, what would happen if I believe my body was my ally instead of my enemy, what would I do differently today? If I believe my body was my ally instead of my enemy, what would I do differently today? You know what's amazing? Morgan has my notes and she's writing it down as if it's not. You got it, baby. It's right there.
But you sounded different.
I love that.
And I'll tell you something. That's the cool thing about tapping. I will create this for our podcast. Morgan will create them for the podcast. And then later on, we'll go and tap on our own stuff and be totally moved. Be totally moved. And I'll just give a little, this is personal, but this morning, that's what happened to me. And one of the things about tapping, one of the releases that you'll get going to the bathroom, releases inflammation. I've done sessions where, and I've watched Morgan do sessions. We won't get into it right now. I watched her lose like 7 pounds in 2 days. She was in the bathroom. It was just releasing toxicity, releasing toxicity. I myself have had a tapping session, and then thereafter, I promise you, on maybe this much water, I must have urinated for 10 minutes. I'm like, where is this water coming from? It's being held. It's being held. So what we do is we start on what's known as the karate chop point. You can just kind of watch us and go along with us as we do it. I'm going to be saying some things and then you can repeat them. You can always repeat them out loud or repeat them in your mind. And we're going to be talking about, I'm going to put a banner up so you can see what we're talking about today, is the releasing the shame of starting over with fitness and movement. Right? Fitness, movement. And I should actually say nutrition as well, because this idea of starting over, maybe you've never eaten in a way that's good for your body, meaning that your body hasn't responded well to it, because we don't talk about good and bad foods, right? When you haven't done that for a long time and now there's shame attached, or now in midlife, there's some dis-ease happening and the doctor's telling you, oh, well, it's your fault. You did, or you feel that way, or your mom tells you that, or your husband. It's hard. It's hard. So we're going to be going through a tapping transformation to help with that. You'll both be doing it with me together. So we're going to start on the karate chop point, and you're going to watch me just go through these. You can use like these 3 fingers. It's not hard. It's like a gentle tap. And you have big glasses like me. We are going to be getting into the eyebrow, the side of eye, and under the eye. You can go right under the glasses. That's what I typically do. And you can tap with us. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take like a really good, deep cleansing breath in through the nose. And I know you know about breath work. Kind of hold that for maybe 3 counts and then blow out through your mouth. I know that you're bouncing on a ball, Jessica, so if you can put your feet flat on the floor, Morgan, you too. Take another deep breath in and out. You may want to just release any tension you may have in your neck. This has been a very deep conversation. So for those of you who are watching in the replay or in the premiere, you may be like, whoa, okay, so you need this tapping right now, all right? So we're going to get started. The side of the hand, this is the karate chop point. Even though I feel like I've started and stopped too many times.
Even though I feel like I've started and stopped too many times.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though my body feels like it's changing in ways I don't understand.
Even though my body feels like it's changing in ways I don't understand.
I honor where I am today.
I honor where I am today.
And even though I sometimes feel ashamed to start again.
And even though I feel ashamed to start again.
I choose to see what starting means.
I choose to see what starting means.
And I will be willing and worthy.
And I will be willing and worthy.
Excellent. You take another deep breath in. We're going to go ahead and start on our points. Okay, start today on the top of the head. Just lightly tapping the top of the head. I've started and stopped so many times.
I've started and stopped so many times.
Eyebrow point. It feels like failure.
It feels like failure.
Side of eye. I get frustrated with myself.
I get so frustrated with myself.
Under eye. My body feels so different now.
My body feels so different now.
Under nose. Sometimes I feel betrayed by it.
Sometimes I feel betrayed by it.
Chin point. Is it too late?
Is it too late?
Collarbone. That shame sits heavy on me.
That shame sits heavy on me.
Underarm. And Jessica, this point is right by where your brow strap would be. I'm tired of starting again.
I'm tired of starting again.
Yeah. Top of head. I believed quick fixes were the answer.
I believe that quick fixes were the answer.
Eyebrow. I've been told my body is too much or not enough.
I've been told that my body is too much or just not enough.
Side of eye. I put myself last behind everyone else.
I put myself last behind everyone else.
Under eye. And so I've been afraid to begin again.
And so I'm afraid to begin again.
Under nose. I've waited for the perfect time.
I've waited for the perfect time.
Chin. But the perfect time never came.
But the perfect time never came.
Collarbone. It's hard to trust myself.
It's hard to trust myself.
Underarm, and that hurts.
And that hurts.
Yeah. We're going to do one more round here. Top of head. We're going to release. I'm letting go of the shame.
I'm letting go of the shame.
Eyebrow point. I'm releasing the pressure to figure it all out.
I'm releasing the pressure to figure it all out.
Side of eye. I don't need to wait for perfect.
I don't need to wait for perfect.
Under eye. I don't need a gimmick or a fad.
I don't need a gimmick or a fad.
Under nose. I can begin where I am right here.
I can begin where I am right here.
Chin. I can start gently.
I can start gently.
Collarbone. I can start joyfully.
I can start joyfully.
Underarm. I can begin again and again and again.
I can begin again and again and again.
That's my strength.
That's my strength.
Let's take a deep breath before we do some affirmations. Deep breath in and out. You'll notice that through the tapping, Jessica, we named all those negatives, those things we don't talk about. But that's the voice that's in there. And whether or not we want to acknowledge it, it's there. And then we're trying to do things on top of it. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. You don't put a Band-Aid there. You sew it up first. So that's why we go ahead and we acknowledge the negative, and then we look to release it. Now we're going to do some affirmations. You can decide to tap or not. I saw you put glass back on, so that's okay. I'm going to do some tapping. I honor this body right now.
I honor this body right now.
Eyebrow point. It's strong enough to begin again.
It's strong enough to begin again.
Side of eye. It is worthy of care.
It is worthy of care.
Under eye. I choose progress over perfection.
I choose progress over perfection.
Under nose. I choose compassion, not shame.
I choose compassion and not shame.
Chin. I choose consistency over extremes.
I choose consistency over extremes.
Collarbone. I'm willing and resilient.
I am willing and resilient.
I am ready.
I am ready.
Underarm. Starting again means I'm still here.
Starting again means I'm still here.
Okay, take a closing breath, deep breath in. Let your shoulders drop. You can let them kind of go up, back, around, and down. Roll your head around. See that tension release. You may feel chills. You may feel like you need to use the bathroom. You may yawn. You may have tears in your eyes. It depends on where you started. The goal here is to remember that your body isn't the enemy. It's a partner. And if Jessica taught us, and even today she taught us that, every time we begin again, we show that resilience. We show what we can do as women. And there's nothing wrong with being a show-off when it comes to what we can do as women. So Jessica, how do you feel? How do you feel, Morgan?
Great. So nice to be here with you ladies.
You know, every time we do this, I am so grateful because, like Jessica brought out, just taking that couple of seconds for yourself really means a world of difference in the day. So
Yeah,
thank
it
you.
does. It
Yeah.
does. So what did you think of your first time tapping?
Yeah, I like, I think I've done that. It's been a few years back.
Mhm.
I remember looking into it, how, the
It's
benefits
deep.
that it
It's
has.
good. It's really good.
It's
With
awesome.
releasing, especially around trauma, emotional, and mental wellness, and stress. And it's something that's easy to learn. And when you have a partner, you work with Morgan and myself, or if you decide to join one of our circles, which secret anyway, it's amazing what happens, especially being in community. And that's one of the reasons why we do it. Both of us got certified last year, but I've been using tapping for probably almost 20 years. We called it something else at the time. We're talking about pre-Periscope days. People don't know about Periscope. Back in the day, and I investigated it with a naturopath, and I said, this is really deep. And I would feel all of these releases, like all of this stuff happening. And it's so necessary today, especially in 2025, with the madness happening. We all have our spiritual practices, but being able to do something quick, just in time, matters so, so much. So we want to make sure our listeners know, if you're looking for, a tapping practitioner, you can always visit us at bit.ly/chat-tap, and make sure that you stay tuned at the podcast, because we're here every Tuesday, and we'll always tap with you at 8 a.m. Tuesday mornings, Eastern time. And we're going to be bringing you great people like Jessica. Jessica, this will not be your last time being with us, because you have more. You have more. You have more to give us. Jessica, closing word. What is something you want a woman to take away from this session today?
Oh, every single one of you listening to this are so much more amazing and powerful than you even know. And so I hope that, if you're not already on that journey to discover how amazing you are and what you're capable of, you'll never regret. Start where you are. Find someone to meet you where you are, and grow. You can never stop growing.
I love it. Perfect.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Isn't it great? I know. It's like poetry. It's like poetry. Listen, if you like what you heard today, make sure you do not miss an episode. This is season 2 of Getting to After, and we're thrilled to be able to bring you not only just-in-time tapping, not only just amazing guests like this, but a place for you to tap, talk, transform, to reflect, to feel like you again, in a way that helps you to bring it forth to your family and really be your best self.
And
Morgan, final words, baby. Go ahead.
Just to all of our listeners, I want you to remember that your starting point, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours, and you just own it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us. We love you. Make sure you come on back the next time. Mwah!
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye.